Welcome back, friends, to another episode on our channel. In today's video, we'll talk about the true power of a nuclear aircraft carrier strike group, like the one now heading toward the coast of Venezuela, and why the United States operates so many of them. According to the Pentagon, the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, has ordered the deployment of the USS Gerald R. Ford and its strike group to the Caribbean, as part of an escalation in the campaign against drug trafficking, and quite possibly to signal stronger intentions from the Trump administration against the regime of dictator Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. This movement includes the carrier, escort ships, and fighter jets, marking a massive increase in American military presence in the region. But what does it really mean to have a strike group like that nearby? A Carrier Strike Group, or CSG, is basically a naval task force centered around a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier that, in the case of the United States, includes ships from the Nimitz and Gerald R. Ford classes, the pillars of the U.S. Navy. The Nimitz class, with 10 ships in service, consists of giants weighing 100,000 tons, powered by 2 nuclear reactors that allow speeds above 30 knots, or about 35 miles per hour, manned with virtually unlimited range, able to operate for up to 25 years without nuclear refueling. Each carries about 75 aircraft, with a maximum of 90, including F-18 Super Hornets, F-35, Sea Fighters, E-2 Hawkeye, early warning planes, MiG-60 Seahawk helicopters for transport, rescue, and anti-submarine warfare, as well as drones. The Gerald R. Ford class, represented by the USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, is the future, even larger and incorporating dozens of new technologies, such as dual-band radars, weapons elevators, and electromagnetic catapults that launch aircraft more efficiently and with less mechanical stress, plus 2 upgraded nuclear reactors that generate 3 times more electrical power, allowing more daily launches and enabling future technologies like high-energy lasers. But the strike group is not just the carrier. A full CSG usually includes, in peacetime, 1 guided missile cruiser from the Ticonderoga class, 2 to 3 destroyers from the Arleigh Burke class, a Virginia-class nuclear attack submarine for intelligence and underwater protection, and many logistical support ships that join the CSG as it passes near American naval bases. Together, they form a floating city with more than 6,000 crew members, in the case of Nimitz-class ships, capable of projecting air power within a radius of about 1,200 miles, using aerial refueling, for navigated sin controlling the seas, deterring threats, and carrying out precise attacks without depending on land bases. In wartime scenarios, a much stronger CSG, reinforced with additional destroyers and cruisers, can neutralize coastal defenses, support ground troops, or impose naval blockades, representing the peak of power projection and strategic mobility. But why does the United States invest so heavily in this? The 11 nuclear carriers, 10 from the Nimitz class and 1 from the Ford class, with 3 more Ford-class ships under construction, are not there by chance. There is a U.S. law that requires at least 10 operational carriers to guarantee capability across multiple theaters, based on what HISTs known as the Rule of 3. To keep 1 carrier constantly on duty in a region, you need 3 in total: 1 deployed, 1 in training, and 1 in maintenance. That means that even in peacetime, the U.S. can always keep at least 1 full strike group in the Pacific, 1 in the Middle East, and 1 in the Atlantic. That number can, of course, increase depending on global tensions and conflicts. The strategic doctrine behind this principle gives the U.S. Navy full capacity to fight 2 major wars simultaneously, or manage multiple crises, with nuclear carriers being ideal since they eliminate the need for frequent refueling, freeing up more space for aviation fuel and munitions. Without them, the United States would have to rely on Allied bases, a risky dependency. But beyond the nuclear carriers, The U.S. Navy also operates real mini-carriers, the America and Wasp classes. These are amphibious assault ships designed for the Marine Corps, with 7 ships in the class, carrying helicopters MV-22 Ospreys and up to 20 F-35B or AV-8B Harrier II jets. The newer America class, with 2 in operation and 2 under construction, is optimized for aviation, with a larger flight deck, bigger hangars, capacity for up to 25 F-35B jets, and a focus on air projection instead of traditional amphibious landings. They complement the large carriers, offering flexibility in low-intensity scenarios without needing to deploy a full CSG, giving the United States a massive force made up of 11 large nuclear carriers and 9 mini-carriers, totaling 20 platforms for air and naval power projection. But this American obsession with carriers didn't appear overnight. World War II was the great catalyst. In that conflict, the US learned that aircraft carriers were the future of naval warfare, surpassing battleships. Before the war, battleships ruled the seas. But Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, the first major naval strike in history carried out entirely by aircraft, exposed the vulnerability of those vessels. Just months later, at the Battle of Midway, the United States overtook Japan in this domain, sinking 4 large Japanese carriers while losing only 1, making it the first naval battle in history where 2 large fleets fought entirely through air power. All that experience left valuable lessons the United States still applies today: mobility and power projection, with carriers becoming the main instruments for offensive actions, sea control, and long-range operations without relying on bases in Allied territories. The U.S. doctrine of power projection, rooted in World War II, sees aircraft carriers as sovereign air bases, able to operate in distant regions without local permission. In areas like the Pacific or the Middle East, they avoid dependence on vulnerable bases, projecting strength thousands of miles from home. And in the case of Venezuela, that principle fits perfectly. The Caribbean is only a few hours' flight from Florida, but a CSG like the Ford's allows massive operations with far greater agility and without relying on neighboring countries' bases. To operate so many aircraft in that area without a CSG, the United States would have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars expanding air facilities in Puerto Rico, a process that would take many years and result in large, costly, long-term installations. It is a massive and powerful show of force, with the Ford, its escort ships, and others already in the region, capable of neutralizing Venezuelan defenses from afar, deterring aggression, and if necessary, acting as direct support for stronger actions targeting the Maduro regime. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now and activate the notification bell so you